Welcome to Double Exposure, where we talk about newly released films and TV shows. I am Riyad, and this is Omar with me. And in this episode, we will be discussing Wheel of Time's 5th episode. Before I forget, for those who are watching on YouTube, feel free to subscribe and hit the notification bell. It really helps us out. And if you're interested in listening to it as a podcast, you can check it out on Buzzsprout and Spotify. So let's start our discussion. The last episode ended with a battle.
Yeah, now we're seeing its aftermath with most of the Aes Sedai dead and basically the half healed by Nynaeve. And we see like this great pan out shot of them being buried.
Yeah.
Which was, I think, like artistically very memorable.
Okay, and we are led to the opening sequence.
Yeah.
And we are introduced in with the title that says 1 month skip. It gives
Yeah.
1 month later idea that.
I mean, the journey in the book does take around a month, but they basically halfway through the journey they give us a 1 month skip where the separate parties have all arrived to the main city, Tar Valon.
As we have also 3 plot points happening for now again.
So hopefully in the next episode they're all gonna tie together.
Okay.
Because 2 of the groups are now aware that they are like near each other.
Okay, with one of the groups we see Rand and Matt.
Yeah, Matt is like kind of worse off now. We see the effects of the dagger like it's visible now.
And it gives the idea now he's being poisoned from inside.
Yeah.
And he's showing from his own outside. We see that he is being
aggressive
towards everyone. About
a kid bumps into him and he like insults him or something.
And in this scene we see a very big mountain that is near the place that they want to go.
Yeah, Rand first notices the mountain, which is like beautifully like placed near the city. Rand notices as the viewer the importance of this mountain, and for those who have read the books, they know that this is Dragon Mount, where let's say the first prologue of the first book actually takes place, and we didn't get the prologue.
And the interesting thing is that
Rand,
when he saw this mountain, he said that this place very feels familiar to me.
Yeah, he was born there. Book readers know that.
Okay. And as soon as that scene finishes, we're now inside the city that all the party members wanted to come, where this so-called White Tower is.
Yeah, Tar Valon's set was really beautifully built. It had like Arabic undertones with like snake charmers and parrots like being paraded through the city, and people of all colors and ethnicities walking around. It really feels like a hub of cultural clashes.
So you said that this was very great in capturing the atmosphere that you had on your mind while you were reading the books.
The props to the set designers, they really nailed the feel of the city.
So afterwards we are introduced to White Tower.
Yeah, I mean, the episode begins with Moiraine, the other
Aes
Sedai arriving at the tower, and we like pick right off from there with Moiraine leading Nynaeve into her room, where she like cautions her about the politics and the cutthroat atmosphere that's inside the White Tower, and cautions her to not get involved with anything and just stay in the room. Then I think this set was also memorable in that the main hall basically has statues of
previous warders.
They have like this way of honoring that they have pledged their lives into like protecting the Aes Sedai, and in death even their statues watch over the halls of the White Tower.
I think that the halls themselves told the story. They had a past to themselves. And the next scenes started to show the other plot points that we left with.
Gwen's story.
Perrin and Gwen's story.
The last time they were traveling with the Way of the Leaf Folk, and they're still doing that 1 month later, but they're basically arriving to the city, but they are confronted by the White Cloaks.
Yeah, they were really close to the city.
Yeah.
So we would have all the party members in the same
Yeah.
place, but they, as you said, were stopped by the White Cloaks.
Yeah, I mean the chronology of events in the book is a little bit different because the first time they arrive at the city, all of the party is already there.
Mhm.
This scene used to be before they even meet the traveling folk, but I think they did a good job of like inserting the scene into the context of the show currently.
All right.
So
They got captured.
yeah,
They got captured.
they tried to flee with the Way of the Leaf folk trying to basically protect them,
Mhm.
but they are captured, and the what was his name?
Child.
Yeah.
Child Valda. So
Yeah.
he's the one character who was introduced in the previous episode as the one who
Yeah,
tortured a couple of
questions,
Aes
yeah.
Sedai.
He cuts their arms off.
Yeah, and he collects the rings from the Aes
Yeah.
Sedai. So he tries to make Egwene channel, and he says that if you channel, I'll kill you, and I'll let Perrin go. I will then kill him. I'll do nothing to him. Or if you won't channel, I'll kill him and I'll let you go. So he creates a very moral choice for both of them. But he again kind of tortures Perrin.
Yeah. I mean, I want to note one thing, which I didn't mention in the last episode they were in. The White Cloaks are portrayed very like cult style, because they are like an offshoot of the basically church equivalent of this world, but they're like religious zealots, fanatics. So I think they portrayed their camps, their uniforms, their basically attitude. Even the Child of Aldar's like dining scene is very like reminiscent of cult behavior, where they are meticulous and obsessed with cleanliness.
But do they have like authority to, for example, use the violence to kill someone
No, I
for
mean,
their own ways?
Egwene herself mentions that they cannot kill an innocent person.
Who hasn't done anything
So
wrong?
they are basically tasked with keeping the Aes Sedai in check. But I mean, they can be ruthless at times, because we saw basically him torturing, cutting up Perrin's back. Yeah.
Afterwards, we see how Egwene tries to channel, even though she channels a little small flame, but we are now introduced that she can channel too. And we see Perrin having a little bit yellowish eyes to show that he kind of is in contact with the wolves, because as soon as he does that,
A pack of wolves
arrives and they kind of run out of the camp. And this,
I mean, the wolves don't attack Perrin and Egwene.
yeah, they do not attack. And there was a scene when Wolf stands in front of them, and Egwene asks that, why are we not
Like,
running?
how do you know that they won't attack?
they
and
won't
he says
attack.
that he knows.
Yeah.
There is a bond between him and the wolves. There was one previous scene where he was surrounded by wolves, and if you look really closely, he himself in his mind was hearing the wolves like howl
Howling.
and bark at him. But if you like zoom in and look into the wolves, they don't actually do that. It's like all psychological.
Okay.
He has this bond with wolves.
Alright.
So after they run out, we are back to
another plot point of Rand being in the city,
where they enter a tavern, and Rand meets with Loyal, who is a fan favorite character, who's basically the
walking Wikipedia, as you said.
yeah. He's lived a long time and he has read all these books, and he basically he is a walking Wikipedia. He can tell you about the history of this world, and he's a great tool for as a storytelling tool. He's a great way of introducing new and even book readers to the lore of this world.
I think he gave, for me personally, an idea that of a man with a great knowledge and with a lot of respect for any race, any species that is roaming around this world. Because he when he met first time Rand, and after Rand runs out to see what was happening outside, he just says that, so humans, always rushing, always
but
without
not
plan.
with like bitterness
Yeah,
or
he's
shit.
that.
He's just
with a total respect to the humankind. To what Rand runs actually outside.
was Logain being paraded throughout the streets by the Aes Sedai.
After being
Like gentled.
gentled.
Yeah, he's kind of down now, basically looking like a sheep who's defenseless, and people are obviously like
But
throwing food at
the
him.
interesting part of that scene for me was when he saw Rand and Matt.
Yeah.
He starting laughing maniacally.
Right now they're playing this vagueness of who the Dragon Reborn is. So, for a person who doesn't know, right now his bets would be on Matt because he is recognized by the false dragon, and he maniacally like laughs at him. And I mean, it's not because he's the Dragon Reborn. It's because he feels the taint of the Dark One on him.
Yeah, he feels the darkness inside Matt.
Yeah.
But I think it worked well in the sense that to throw off the audience in the sense that maybe Matt is the dragon, maybe because
there's this vagueness. As
afterwards they had the talk. They had the talk with the
where
Rand that
Matt proposes a pact where they would not allow each other to become like Logain.
And afterwards we again back in the White Tower, and we see one of the warders who lost an Aes Sedai that he was bonded with in the battle.
We see like this warder character Stepan getting into white clothes, and he's preparing to do this kind of ceremony where they burn the ring the dead Aes Sedai. And
he contemplates to have a bond with a different Aes Sedai, but he have lived his half of his life with the one that was dead.
I mean, they make a good show of how deep the bond of the Aes Sedai and warders go, where they physically feel empty when the other one has died. I mean, Len goes so far as to offer him to bond with another Aes Sedai as a way of getting over her, but he doesn't want to do that. He's lost.
Okay, and in this scene we had a small, like a very subtle exposition, an introduction to another lore part.
Yes, we see Stepan like burning candles at an altar to the Forsaken, which are here brushed off a little bit, and they're gonna be a bigger part of the story. And they're told to be like the Dark One's lieutenants, and we're finally Ishmael, let's say the biggest antagonist of the book, is mentioned. And I think this was good, but I mean this was done a little bit late because we've seen him in the visions. The man with the coal eyes is him. But at least they did it. I liked how they like seamlessly weaved into the story without actually having like a flashback montage style.
Good. But I think this works very well in the sense that because when in the subsequent seasons, when they come out, if a character called Ishmael comes up, and people will be like, who the hell is he? And with this way, we already know there is someone called like that. He had a very importance in the past. He did something in the past, as if like the warders are talking about him. And this scene leads to when Lan and Stepan just discuss the future of Stepan as warder.
In an earlier scene, we saw Stepan request from Nynaeve to get something called Goat's Herb or something. And it's supposed to calm the nerves and put you in a sleeping mood. But he takes like massive quantities of it, and he drugs basically during their conversation which in turn makes you fall asleep. And he,
as soon as he wakes up, he sees that Stepan is not there.
And a dagger is missing.
He notices that there is one dagger is missing.
And he runs out to basically the main courtyard, like entrance of the White Tower.
He sees
and he sees that near the statues of the previous warders, Stepan is on his knees with a knife sticking from his stomach and a pool of blood. Obviously, he committed. Basically, looked like ritualistic, suicide.
And this episode ends with a very moving scene because
it mirrors the beginning because the start of the episode began with a funeral,
and
with the Aes Sedai being killed, and Right now we get a border funeral.
Yeah, and this scene is a moving scene because we all already know as an audience the important relationships that those warders have between each other. Because they're kind of a brothers in arms, and we see different Aes Sedai respecting the other warders too, and they have a chant. They start with a chant,
Yeah,
and they
again with the use of Mongolian throat singing in like late media, in everywhere basically.
yeah,
Games,
it
video
is
games.
becoming very popular. And they ask Lan to continue the ceremony, and they start hitting their shoulders.
Yeah.
Everyone starts to hit their shoulder. Besides, as we have seen the first time, the Aes Sedai, they weren't.
They
hitting
didn't join the
didn't join-
borders in
Yeah,
their
but
chant.
they started to join as it became.
I really like the
continuous.
scene between Lan and Moiraine, where you can see that the one is feeling the emotions of the
Yes,
other.
yes, because from the previous episode we understood that Lan was very close with this character called Stepin, and as soon as he starts to cry, as he gets emotional, we see, as you mentioned, Moiraine tearing up.
Yeah. This goes to show how deep the bond between them go. I mean, at one point in the episode, Stepin even implies that Lan should get his bond removed so as to not experience the thing he's experiencing
Yes.
right now.
Yes.
Moiraine even herself contemplates with some of her colleagues that what's gonna happen, how is it gonna go with Lan, because as we get into the story, it's gonna become even more dangerous. The stakes are gonna rise, and to have a relationship where you are bound to one person and the pain, the emotions you're feeling are gonna be reflected in him. It's a like big, let's say, sacrifice to do that.
And this episode again ends, as you said, with the funeral. It ends with the similar shot that started this episode. Overhead shots of people surrounding Stepin in his funeral.
I like that in the previous scene where they did the funeral in the wilderness, the people buried were in white. They basically wrapped them with white, like pails.
Yeah.
And in this shot we're seen with like, though not the mourners, but let's say the attendees of the funeral being wrapped in it. Kinda mirrors it.
Yeah, mirrors it. So we have now 3 episodes left for this season to finish. And
so far they have basically
how much of the books has they covered?
I'd say like 60%.
60%
after this, the events like the gear starts turning.
Okay. So what do you think? Will they able to finish this book in 3 episodes, or will this season act as a part 1 for a book?
I do not believe that. From the episode names, we see that they at least I believe they tried to like fully adapt the first book. But I'm afraid that the last 3 episodes are gonna be rushed, and they're not gonna like be as detailed as these episodes that we've got so far.
So they will have a much more faster pace, and as you said, it has to end on cliffhanger. So to capture
and there
people.
is so much to discover yet. I don't want them to leave it off at a point where we still don't know who the Dragon Reborn is. We still haven't gotten let's say even half of the way through heroes' journeys where each character. They haven't gotten a lot of development. Right now we're getting glimpses and we're seeing them develop as we watch them. I'm curious as to what will happen in the next episodes, but hopefully they will take their time and do it right.
We'll see. So thank you for listening to our discussion. Hopefully see you next time. Take care.